Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for the OPTC video, and in today's video, we're diving back into some PvP with the Strength Slasher team. It's back, baby! And in today's video, we're actually taking on some DEX lineups. Now, DEX have had a lot of buffs recently. They've actually skyrocketed to one of the best teams in the game, actually. Actually, them is the second best team when we're just talking just straight meta comps. And they had a lot of buffs recently with stuff like Frankie, Usopp, the 10th anniversary Ace, obviously, 6+ Lucci, and then the Verse Kaido to come for the latest Super Sugo One Piece Day celebration. So, DEX have just had so many characters at their disposal that just do some really, really good things. And lately, there hasn't really been too many other meta teams that can kind of take them down. So, this particular Strength Slasher team, with the new Giants legend, allows you to do some pretty crazy things. Now, we are bringing back the usual culprits of Kaku level limit break, K-Dad, Odin, and Toki. With the release of Odin's level limit break, he got very, very good. Toki's obviously very, very good at nerfing decks, so is Kaku. And then K-Dad's just an absolute monster if you bring an Odin on the team. But the new shining light for the team is the Dory and Brogy legend that came alongside Shank's first kid. And Dory Brogy are a Strength Slasher booster. They can work on the Slasher team, they can work on the Strength team, but the best place they are going to fit is if you can make a team work with Strength and Slasher characters. So that's pretty much what we've done today, and like I said, we will be taking down purely the Dex-based builds. Now, Dex still does have a trump card that you do have to be careful of when it comes to versing them in the PvP game mode. He's not actually a Dex character, but we'll talk about that once he gets there. But this particular team actually works across the board against pretty much every single comp. With the release of Usopp, he can slow down the enemy's cooldown reductions, so he can be a bit of a nuisance. And then Ace, Lucci, Blackbeard, they can all lower your lower your defense and hit very hard. You obviously have to be very careful of Big Mom and her RNG with the half stats. You have to be very, very careful of Kaido. He hits very hard and he goes through defense. But the upside of running something like Kaku is you can actually slow down the enemy team so much that your specials, 9 times out of 10, are going to go a lot faster than the enemies. Now, the Giants are very, very good, mainly because they have a very, very powerful passive and a very, very powerful special that works great for Strength and Slasher characters. With their special, they can apply half stats to defense. It's only defense, which is a bit unfortunate. However, still getting the half stats for defense allows you to do a lot of damage with their special over here in Pirate Rumble. At level 5, they are going to target Strength, Type, Slasher, Teammates, Attack up, level 6. So that's their passive, my bad. Targets enemies within a large range for horizontal attack of ×4. Targets Strength teammates for attack up level 5. And then targets Slasher teammates attack up level 5. If there is any of the Shanks Redhead Pirates or Shanks himself, they then are going to target all enemies for 100% chance to halve defense, and then do another attack of ×2 damage. And this is where most of their damage comes from, and it works very, very well. Because you can just obviously lower defense with stuff like K-Dad. You can obviously slow down the enemy with Kaku, who I believe also lowers defense. But then the Giants will actually halve whatever's left. And this allows Odin and K-Dad to just go absolutely insane. Now, as I was talking earlier, there is a trump card that Dex has for a defensive option, and that is Blackbeard. If Blackbeard's on a team, he can just cause so much ruckus, man. He causes so much nuisance, and the reason he does is because he targets Slasher characters, which is very, very annoying. So if you see Blackbeard on a defensive team, especially alongside Usopp, like the two of them together, it's so toxic. You'll end up looking like this, where you have -10 defense, and even with like a level limit break 1 Pell, like, look at, we're taking so much damage. So just be careful of Blackbeard. I wanted to include this in the video. I was going to cut it out, but I figured, like, hey, like, this team is designed to go up against Dex teams, and I don't want people to be like, oh, but I went up against Blackbeard and got absolutely cakewalks, because Blackbeard's sort of built different. So the Giants unit on this team works amazingly, and that's having the half stats is pretty much like their big gimmick of what they bring to the table for this particular team. Like, Ace is clapping us, it's crazy. That's kind of the big gimmick that they bring to the team. For the team, though, you do have to bring a Shanks or any of the Redhead Pirates, and there aren't that many Strength Slasher options, so I've just thrown on the free-to-play Yasop on this team. He's going to work very, very well as the bench option. He doesn't do too much for the team, but He's going to do something. He's a shooter too, so he can work with Rise of Shinobu, I guess. But you do want to have that half stat passive. Like, you really, really want to have that in the special. Otherwise, they're not that effective on this team. Dex teams are super, super, super vulnerable to half stats. Action bind and half stats are like their biggest weakness. So if you can bring a character that can halve the defense, it just allows you to do so much damage. Plus, you've just got a lot more speed than them. You don't have much defense at all, but at the same time, Dex lowers defense so quickly that if you did have defense, you're going to lose it anyway. So it's better to just go raw offense when you are taking them down. But like I said, be very, very careful of Blackbeard. As a passive for Dori Brogi, at level 5, they target Strength, slash a teammate's attack up level 6, HP up level 6, and then they give just Slash's speed up level 6. So if you're running a full Slasher team, you're going to get all their buffs. But if you're running Strength, you aren't going to get that final level 6 speed buff unless they're a Strength Slasher character. Now, lucky for us, everyone on this team is a Slasher and a Strength unit, so we are getting the Giants full passive. If you then have any of the Shanks Donnies or Shanks himself, you get a level 4 CT buff and a defense buff level 4. This is going to make the Giants very, very good in the middle slot. They are on a 36-second cooldown, so you definitely need as much cooldown reduction as possible. Strength Slashers don't have that much cooldown reduction, but because Kaku is reducing the enemy CD, that sort of just like is a counter CD buff for yourself. Obviously, it's situational, but it still works in our favor today because we're literally just targeting Dex teams. So this team's a lot of fun. If you do find Dex teams, you are struggling with Dex teams, this team will kind of just tear through them. Obviously, the combination of Toki and Kaku are the big two that help out a lot, and then you just have obviously the Odin and K-Dad combination for damage, and then you bring in the Giants to just do even more. You do have the release of Momo as well, the Momo, Kinemon, and Dendro unit. I actually don't have them myself, but they could probably find a way onto this team. I don't know who they would really replace. I guess if you were running just Strength Slashes as a whole, you could probably replace something like Toki. I guess if you're not versing Dex, you could definitely move off Kaku, bring something like S-Hawk into the front and do some fun stuff there. Because remember, K-Dad and Odin, like, they're buffing Slasher characters. They're not buffing strength units. So even if you ran, say, S-Hawk in the front instead of something like Kaku, then you could definitely do some really, really powerful things there. And then obviously if you take off Toki, you don't really have to abide to the strength comp. But at the end of the day, that's not really going to be a strength slasher comp, is it? It's going to be just more of like a slasher variation with the strength options that Odin and K-Dad can kind of provide. But if you guys want to see that type of video, let me know in the comment section below. In that point, you could just throw on a Shanks for crying out loud. I'm sure there's lots of like 20 cost slasher Shanks that you could probably bring. They're probably not going to do that much for the team, but look, you definitely can bring them nonetheless. So overall, I was a big fan of this team. It was a lot of fun. If I see Dex teams coming up, pop up, pretty much just going to run this team whenever I can. Strength have definitely diminished or fallen off a little bit in terms of their value in PvP. Mainly because they haven't really had a very good buff-based unit that has come to their team moving forward. They did get 6+ Akainu recently, but like he's just more of like a nice-to-have bench unit and sort of works better over on the shooter team. But at the end of the day, strength is still very good. They just haven't had that much love recently. Strength slashes against Dex, though, it's like I said earlier, it's definitely gonna be a team that I get drawn towards. Even when you sort of have some shenanigans going up against like Yamato and stuff like that, you can still do really, really nice stuff because the bench is very, very strong with S-Hawk and Rise of Shinobu. So you can do some really, really fun stuff there. But let me know what you guys think of the Giants in PvP. I did use them on a slasher-based team. I think I already did, yeah, I did a slasher-based team showcase for these guys as well, where we used Shanks and we used the Giants too. So make sure you go check that out if you guys want to see more of a slasher-centric stuff. But as for the slasher team itself, it's obviously starting to diminish a little bit as well, just because we've had such crazy buffs, mainly with Blackbeard sort of slotting in on the Dex team, slotting in on the Quick team, and obviously run his own in-team as well. So let me know what you guys think, like I said, down below in the comment section. While you're down there, build the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff for me. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Big damage to finish it. So